everybody doing? Welcome back to the Mark Shapiro channel. It just come to my attention that I forgot to do episode 6. So I'm going to actually rewind time and go backwards and do number 6, even though number 7 is already out. And so is 8, but you just never know. Sometimes music has a way of doing crazy things, like turning back the hands of time. With that being said, welcome to episode 6. And today, for our episode 6, we're going to do a brief little talk about the tube screamer. Because the tube screamer has been around for quite some time, and for some reason, it always seems to sound great. As a matter of fact, I just saw a thing on YouTube, a guy I really like, doing a little critique of the tube screamer. He didn't like it. This is what I'd say about the tube screamer. If you went to Guitar Center right now and lined up 20 overdrive pedals with your favorite guitar and your favorite amp, and you went through and you played every single one, and then they said, pick your best one, pick your next best one, I guarantee the tube screamer would be like the last 3 chosen, no matter what else there was. But the funny thing about it is, when you get on the bandstand and you need a little overdrive and you need something that's going to put it right where it needs to be, where the frequencies are just always seem to work out, those precious mid-range frequencies, I can't tell you how many times I've taken my tube screamer off my pedal board, tried the latest, greatest thing, which sound great. They all sound great. And then I get to the gig or to the session, and the highs are getting in the way, the lows are getting in the way. And then I just finally, after years, like up and down and up and down and up and down, and so many times I would keep the tube screamer in the bag just as a safety, and sure enough, we would end up going back to the tube screamer time after time after time, year after year after year. So it's just the weirdest thing. It makes no sense, but in a way that no sense makes sense. That the guitar's mid-range frequencies are so temperamental, but they're so beautiful, because when you get not too much gain, but the right frequencies and the right padding, you have just the flexibility to do whatever you want within a track. And that's when you really, as a player, feel comfortable. And when you're feeling comfortable, then you feel loose. And when you feel comfortable and loose, that's generally when you're going to come up with some great stuff. So, tube screamer, I hate it and I love it. Like I say, I've just been using it forever. It always seems to work. So, generally I turn the drive down a little bit. The gain is up. The tone's generally pretty straight ahead, depending on the contour of the song, what key you're in or whatever. Might just tweak it somewhere from 11 to 1. And every once in a while, like, you use it as part of a chain of effects, a part of gains. And my secret weapon on the other pedal board, I go into this Church of Tone pedal. And basically the concept is, if you run pedals together, it will, the characteristic of the last pedal is what's going to kind of be the prevailing tone that exists. So when you run a tube screamer into something cleaner, you're going to get a cleaner tube screamer. If you run a tube screamer into something more dirty, you're going to get a dirtier version of whatever you're running it into. Okay, the point of this whole thing is the tube screamer is so versatile, because you can add a little bit of gain, you can add quite a bit of gain, especially with the humbuckings, and then when you run it into other things, you can really beef up those other sounds. But the tube screamer, the thing I like about it at the end of the day is that it's very useful, it's very functional. And does it sound like the best pedal there ever was in the music store? No. It goes all against all, what's the saying? It goes against conventional wisdom. But when you put it with a drummer on a stage or in a studio setting, it just gives you the right oomph and enables you to be, as a player, comfortable to be able to create cool parts and cool music. So I would say get your tube screamer, turn it on, don't be shy, and get ready to rock. Thank you for checking out the Mark Shapiro Music Channel, and we will see you next time. All right.